Beautiful. Okay, yogis. Welcome to class. So today we practice Yin Yoga for the spine, right? So healthy, happy, strong and supple spine. We need props, bolsters if you have, and blocks if you don't have a bolster, right? So we will begin in a seated position for a short breathing session, a short meditation. So find your comfortable seated position. It doesn't matter what you do with your legs, they can be cross-legged. You can also use a chair, and in that case, make sure that your feet are flat on the mat, parallel with one another, that you're not crossing your legs. It's always good to elevate your hips by sitting on blocks or cushions. And most importantly, we want our spine to be nice and long, right? So maybe take a moment to wiggle from side to side, to feel your sitting bones pressing into the ground, and then think about your spine. Today it's all about the spine. So think about your column reaching up towards the sky, right? Sometimes what we do also in class, we place one hand at the crown of the head and we think about pressing the top of the head into the hand so that we create that lengthening, that action, yes, towards the sky. Good. Drop the hand on your knees and close your eyes here. I invite you now to place your attention to your breath, shifting from the mind zone, dropping into the body zone for the next 60 minutes. So your full attention now is on your breath. You want to observe your natural and effortless breath. Breathing in through the nostrils, you are aware that you're breathing in. Breathing out through the nostrils, you are aware that you're breathing out. Good. Now I invite you to place your attention at the bottom of the spine, at the sacrum, at the very end of the spine. And with your next inhale, imagine that the breath travels up from the bottom of the spine, traveling through the spine, through this channel, all the way up to the top of the head. And as you exhale from the top of the head, the breath travels down through the spine, all the way to the bottom of the spine. Inhale, the breath travels from the bottom of the spine to the top of the head. And exhale, reverse. Continue, and you could even visualize the breath that moves up and down. So you can even visualize the channel, your spine. And the breath, maybe it has a color, maybe it is a light, or it has a shape. Just let the imagination create it for you without thinking about it too much, whatever it comes. So visualizing the channel and the breath moving up and down along the channel. Rising, inhale, and lowering, dropping down, exhale. At your own pace. Allow the breath to flow freely in and out. No forcing, no pushing, no restrictions, no obstacles on the way. Inhale, the breath travels up. Exhale, from the top of the head, the breath travels down. And notice how, by simply using this technique, this visualization, the breath begins to feel deeper and slower. And how you also become more aware of the inhale and of the exhale. And there might be somewhere along this channel, somewhere along your spine, where the breath is kind of interrupted. The breath is kind of doesn't flow freely. So we want to acknowledge that. Maybe you even feel that in the physical sensations. Could be. Or maybe not. It's your unique experience. Continuing. Very good. Then setting up the intention for this practice, for this Yin Yoga practice today, where we are in stillness, holding the poses, to stay with the breath, to observe the natural inhale, the natural exhale, and to observe how the breath changes, shifts as we hold the poses in stillness, if there is any change. Good. You can now open your eyes, and we'll begin lying on the back. I will show you our first pose. So probably you already know this. Is by far one of my favorite pose to unwind, to end the day, which is supported fish pose, where we place the bolster. So you need to come to a seated. I will show you with the bolster first, the variation with bolsters, and if you don't have one, I'll show you with the blocks, okay? So you want to press the bolsters into your tailbone, so really touching your glutes. Make sure there is no space between the bolster and your glutes. And then you want to drop your spine on the bolster. If your head feels like hanging and you feel kind of a compression at the back of the head here, please, you can support, you can elevate your head gently by using a block, okay? If you do not have a bolster, you can use 2 blocks. It's not going to be as soft or as comfy, but you can use 2 blocks on the second setting. And you will place the first block between your shoulder blades at the height of the heart, more or less. And you will place the second block just below the head, at the bottom of the head, where the base of the skull is, okay? So we want to create the same opening into the spine. For the first few minutes, we will be in butterfly legs. So join the soles of the feet together. Go ahead for 2 minutes. So not crossed leg, but your soles, the soles of the feet are joined together. That's it. That's it. Perfect. And I will let you know when you can then open your legs, coming into your extended legs like we do in Shavasana here. Okay. Your arms can be next to the body, palms facing up. Maybe you want to have your hands on your body, on your lower tummy, maybe on the chest. You choose. I do like to have them in open, wide, like in Shavasana. Close your eyes. Invite your legs, your knees, your thighs, inner thighs to be heavy. And notice your breathing here. This first pose is all about opening the spine, opening the front part of the body, taking the spine into a gentle arch. So creating space in your upper spine, mainly the thoracic spine. Creating space in the rib cage, allowing your lungs to move freely here. Opening the space between the collarbones as well. So maybe you feel more spaciousness in your chest, in your heart space, in your lungs, in the rib cage. And when we create more space in that area, the breath should also feel more spacious, more free, wider, deeper. So observe how it feels to breathe here. Remember that what we practice here is simply the awareness, becoming aware. No need to judge yourself or your breath or your body or your mind. We're not here to have an opinion about it. We simply observe, we simply become aware. Good. Stay in the position. You are welcome now to extend your legs. So come out of your butterfly pose, but keep the spine supported on the blocks or on the bolster. Open your feet as wide as your mat and let the toes drop to the side. One more minute here. And maybe the breath will naturally become deeper or longer. Sometimes we naturally feel like the need to exhale fully. And that's great. Allow that to happen. All right. So you can slowly begin to move the toes, move the fingers. And you can roll to one side, so taking your feet flat on the mat. Remember, we come out of the poses slowly and gently. Roll to one side so that you come off the bolster, off the blocks. Remove the bolster and come lying on your back. Come lying on your back like when we are in Shavasana, in corpse pose. And take a moment to come back to your neutral spine here. Feeling the ground underneath. Allowing the body to be heavy. If you feel your mind overactive, come back to the breath. Very good. We'll continue with our next pose, banana shape. So for that, bring your feet on the mat, flat on the mat, just for a moment, so that you can press your feet into the ground and slightly shift the hips to the left edge of the mat, but keeping your glutes on the ground. So it's just a little shift of your glutes, of your hips to the left. Extend your legs and take your feet to the right corner of the mat. There is not tilting, not twisting. My body is flat on the mat. Your right and left glutes are on the mat. And now you can lift slightly the upper body, the shoulders, and take your shoulders towards the right upper corner of the mat, creating this crescent shape, this C shape with your body. As an option, you can take your left ankle and cross it over the right. Can be here with your arms next to the body, or you could take your arms overhead if you also want to address your shoulders. Just make sure that the arms are fully on the ground. We know that in Yin Yoga we need to find that support so that the body can yield, can rest, can lean onto that support so that we don't use our strength. So if your arms are not on the ground, please use a block or a bolster. We'll be here for the next 3 minutes. Gently opening the left side of the body. The left ribs, the rib cage on the left side. So that maybe you could take your breath there on the left lung, on the left side of the rib cage. And allow that spot, that part, to expand with each inhale. Creating space. Making sure that your legs are relaxed, are heavy, your glutes, are not engaged. Your tummy is soft and can move in and out freely. Your arms and your head are also heavy. Resist maybe your tendency or the need to control the breath, to push it, to stop it, and allow it to flow freely in and out through the nose. Slowly, we find our way back to center. Moving first maybe the upper body and then your legs, or the other way around, moving one piece at a time. Draw your knees into your chest. Have your hands on the knees. And start to make circles with your knees so that they first move in towards your chest, then they spread away from one another, away from your chest, and back to the chest, away from one another, away from you. Slow movements. And change direction. Good. Drop your feet flat on the mat. And let's do the other side. So you take your feet to the left corner of the mat, your upper body to the upper left corner of the mat. Make sure that your body is flat, so it's not twisted, it's not tilted, but your sitting bones and your shoulder blades are both on the ground. Find the same variation with the legs. Maybe you're crossing the right leg over the left, and maybe you take the arms overhead. You choose. Also, 3 minutes here in your banana shape. This time, taking our breath to the right side, to the right lung. Opening the lines, the meridians that are located in the right side of the body. If you find yourself chasing a thought or lost in the train of thoughts, if you are unsure of where your attention is, acknowledge that you are lost, that you might be lost, and with kindness, with acceptance, come back to your breath. Observe if the breath feels different compared to when you started this practice, this class. Maybe there is a subtle change, maybe a big change, maybe no change. No change at all. That's also something that we can observe, the absence of change. Good. Slowly, let's find a way out. You can again draw your knees into the chest. And again, circles with your knees. Change direction. If you find yourself yawning, like it's happening to me right now, this is good. This is a sign of your body, of your nervous system. The body is relaxing. We're shifting to the moment where we relax, we soften. Good. So keep the knees now hugging into your chest. So after moving the spine into a lateral flexion, into an extension with the arch, now we're coming into a twist of the spine. So I invite you to drop your knees to the right side. See if you can your knees can come fully on the ground. If not, place something, maybe the bolster below the knees. I like to place it also that is in a way that is supporting my shins and my feet, as I'm showing you now in the video. Or it can be that the bottom knee touches the ground, but the top knee doesn't meet the bottom knee. So you could have also a block or the bolster between your knees, okay? Find your variation. Open the left arm to the side and finish your pose by taking your gaze to the left side, to the left shoulder, if it's okay for your neck. If it doesn't feel comfortable for the neck, also considering that we will be holding the pose for 3 minutes, keep your gaze neutral, facing towards the ceiling. Invite the muscles next to the spine to soften here. And this time we take our breath to the lower back, to the mid back. So that your back expands with each inhale that you take. So especially when we practice Yin Yoga, this is a great opportunity to become aware, to learn what I call the language of the body. The body itself speaks to us. I'm not talking about verbal language, of course, like non-verbal. Speaks to us in different ways. I was just saying about yawning. Yawning is a way that the body is telling us that we are relaxing. Sometimes it can be a twitch, so something that is releasing, something that is twitching, and then the body relaxes that spot. So there are many different ways, also the temperature, cold or hot, that the body speaks to us. And so, especially in the Yin Yoga, we can start to become aware to learn this language, to read our body through its unique way of communicating, of expressing. Also, changes in the breath is a way that the body communicates. So I invite you to not only pay attention to the changes in your breath, but also any other sign, any other sign that your body might be showing. Okay, well done. Let's find the way back to the center. Hug the knees into the chest, squeeze the knees to the chest. And go ahead and come into your twist on the other side. Dropping the knees to the left. Again, find your variation with the bolster, whether it's placed between the knees or below the bottom knee. Open your right arm to the side and choose where you want your gaze to be. If it's your gaze pointing to the right, maybe to the ceiling. Imagine that you could breathe through the lower back, through the mid back, so that we expand that area, that spot expands as you inhale and softens as you exhale. Here also your tummy is relaxed. And it can move freely in and out without any restriction. One of the many things that I love about Yin Yoga is that we spend a lot of time on the ground. Mainly it's lying down or seated, right? So we are very much in contact with the ground. And this is something that we have lost, right? Because we use chairs, for example, so we don't spend that much time with the ground, hanging out with the ground. And this is something that I personally love and I feel is very beneficial for our body to reclaim our connection with the ground, with the earth. And also our connection to gravity itself. Great. Inhale. Slowly come back to the center. And exhale here. Take a moment to notice how it feels, especially in these spots in the area next to the spine, on the lower back, on the mid back, upper back, the shoulders. And find your way to come to a seated, nice and slow. So we can continue. Take it easy, take it slow, because we spent almost half an hour lying down, so we need to come back to being again into vertical axis. Now, our next pose, so we have arched the spine, so extension of the spine, right, on the first pose. Then we did the banana, which is a lateral flexion of the spine. And then we did a twist now. So there is one movement of the spine missing, which is the opposite of the arch, which is rounding, the flexion of the spine, okay? So we will come into a forward fold with your feet together. If you want to elevate your hips, you can do that. And since we are not practicing yang or active yoga, it doesn't matter what we do with the pelvis. It doesn't matter if we flex the ankles. We kind of want to here yield, right? We want to drop. We want to relax. If you feel a lot of tension below the knees, at the back of the legs, you're welcome to use a block below the knees. And simply here we fold forward. So we are allowed, it's okay to round the spine here, to naturally let the spine round. This is the shape that we actually are looking for in this pose. I like to have the arms on the ground, palms facing up. Let the elbows hang, let the arms be heavy here. You can close your eyes and bring your gaze inward. And what we are doing here in this pose, we are opening the whole back of the body. So the back of the legs and the back of the upper body, so the whole body basically. So you might feel the stretches, the sensations, as I said, in the back of the legs, but also in your lower back, in your mid back, in your upper back, maybe in the neck as well. And I want you to bring your attention to the physical spot where you feel the most of the sensations. And to imagine that you are capable of breathing in and out through that spot. Imagine that that spot expands with each inhale and softens with each exhale. You can even try to visualize that. And as I spoke about gravity earlier, this is actually where gravity comes to help us. So resists any tendency you might have to resist to gravity, and allow the upper body to fold fully towards the ground. By relaxing your tummy, for example, by allowing your shoulders, your head to be heavy. So that we are not coming away from the ground, but instead we give our body weight to the ground. One more minute. It's a good opportunity to check in with the breath. Knowing that at the physical level, what we are doing now, we are closing the rib cage. So maybe the breath doesn't feel as spacious as when we were opening the rib cage in our first pose, in the supported fish pose. Very good, yogis. With your next inhale, very slowly, as slow as you can, find your way back up so that your spine is now in an upright position. You can have the hands next to your body on the ground, and keep the gaze forward for a moment of neutral here. Giving our body a moment to integrate, to come back. And I will show you our next and last pose. So please look first. We need our bolster for supported bridge pose. As you're lying on your back, you want to lift the hips and place your bolster below at the very bottom of the spine, so your sacrum and your lower back. And you can keep your feet on the ground, or you can extend your legs. It will be more intense. If you do not have a bolster, you can use the block below the base of the spine. Okay, so go ahead. We will be here for 3-4 minutes. So you could start with your legs extended, and if at halfway through you feel that is a bit too intense on the lower back, please go ahead and place your feet on the ground, okay? Don't push yourself. Here we are working on the lower spine and also on our hips. So this is a hip extension, opening the hips. The hips are open up towards the sky. Invite your lower back to become heavy, so that, again, you're giving to gravity. You let gravity do the work for you, so that the lower back is dropping, is trusting the support. You want to trust the support and you want the body to become heavier. No tension in your legs or in your buttocks or in your pelvic floor, in the genital area. And you choose where you want to place your attention, whether it's on the breath or on the physical sensations that you might feel around the lower back or the front of the thighs. One more minute here. You're welcome to, if your legs are extended, you're welcome to place your feet on the mat. And now, stay in this position, so with your lower back and your sacrum supported, and just take your legs up into the sky, into the air. So extend your legs up. They don't have to be fully extended, they can be slightly bent. And we hold this position for a minute. So we invite the energy from the feet to flow through the legs, so that the blood can return to the heart. And you can move your toes, pointing and flexing. You can do some circles with your ankles as well, pointing like a ballerina and flexing. Gentle movements in your feet, toes, ankles. Sometimes when you do this pose, you feel like suddenly like heat in your legs and like a sensation of movement of liquids moving along the legs. Definitely I'm getting ready for sleep. Hope you too. Good. And slowly lower your legs so that you place your feet flat on the mat. And now we need to use a bit of our strength so that we can lift the hips and slide the bolster away. And let your sacrum, your lower back, drop on the ground. Go ahead and extend your legs so that we can come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Do what you need to do to be comfortable and cozy in your Shavasana. Can be using some extra layers, maybe turning the lights off, closing the window. Maybe covering the eyes with an eye mask or with a piece of cloth, with a scarf. Good. Feel the entire body from head to toes, toes to head. You're still in the body space. Notice the effects of this practice on the body at the physical level. On your breath. On your mind. Observe the quality of the thoughts, the quantity, how fast they move. Can be supportive and positive thoughts, can be negative and destroying thoughts. Come back to feeling the spine, the entire spine, and imagining the spine like a channel, like a tube, like a tunnel. And we come back to the way that we started with that visualization of the breath, which can have a shape or a color that you choose, that moves up along the spine, along the tunnel as you inhale, and down along that tunnel as you exhale. And maybe today when you're lying down in bed, right before falling asleep, you can come back to this practice, visualizing the breath moving along the spine. Maybe you can do that for 10 breaths, so even counting the breaths, and that will set you ready to sleep. You can go ahead now and begin to move gently, wiggle the toes, the fingers. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Maybe you want to stretch, you want to come into a twist, you want to roll. And slowly find your way to seated. Good. Welcome back. Deep work today, like always, right? See how your spine feels later today or tomorrow or in the next days, knowing that the effects of this practice can be long, right? Up to 48, 72 hours. So pay attention. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Namaste. You'll have a new video tomorrow, short practice. Tomorrow is all about, I can't remember, but it's ready. You will receive it in your email tomorrow, and I will see you next Monday. So hope you enjoy this weekend, and make sure you do the short practices, because as I was telling you, they are they're part of what we do in this class, right? So it is, you will absorb even more all the benefits of what we do in the live classes if you also do the short sequences. I don't know why I can't remember, but I've been working on preparing all the short classes, so there's a lot on my head now. But yes, so again, thank you for joining me today. See you on Monday. Bye.